Every day, hundreds of thousands of patrolmen report for duty, armed with a badge and the latest in video technology. You are about to witness their never-before-seen footage. Their stories caught on tape. Now, on Disorderly Conduct, a courthouse becomes a shooting gallery. A teenager suddenly decides to hit the road. SWAT calls on a dozer to do the dirty work. And a cop takes one for the team. It's time to drop what you're doing and get ready for some hard-hitting, disorderly conduct. Farmington, Michigan. It's usually a good thing when a mother and her son hang out together. But that's not the case today. Police suspect that this mom and her teenage kid have been shoplifting at a local mall, and now they're running from the law. With her son sitting next to her, the woman at the wheel decides to pull a fast one. At the last second, she races across lanes and takes this connector road. It isn't long before the Ford blows a tire. Then seconds later, smoke pours out from under the car. It looks like this family road trip is about over, but then something totally unexpected happens. That definitely bears repeating. The teen jumps out. Then the car T-bones a van. The 16-year-old runs up the hill as the uninjured van driver spins to a stop. This so-called kid isn't going to break any track records since he weighs nearly 250 pounds. And what about Mom? She jumped out of the car after the accident, and now she's running after her boy. It isn't long before mother and child tire, and officers take them into custody. Both face charges ranging from retail fraud to illegal flight. But there won't be a family reunion in jail, since Mom is headed to adult court and her son is off to juvenile hall. It's a typical weekday afternoon at the Smith County Courthouse in Tyler, Texas. Courtrooms are in session. Outside, a woman and her son arrive for a divorce hearing. But unknown to them, the woman's husband is there too. He's armed with an AK-47. He has her in his sights, and he's about to turn this courthouse into a living hell. The woman is fatally injured, and her son is wounded in the leg. But off camera, as others run for cover, a citizen with a handgun opens fire on the killer before he can finish the job. It's an action that saves the son's life. But the heroic citizen pays with his own as the gunman fires back. Court officers with guns drawn rush to confront the shooter. The fighting at the front door is fierce. Sheriff's Deputy Sherman Dullison runs out the door with gun drawn. He fires at the suspect, but goes down, seriously injured as he takes return fire. The shooter keeps firing, blasting out the windows. But more lawmen step up, exposing themselves to mortal danger in a bold attempt to stop the gunman. They don't know that he's wearing full body armor, and their bullets have little effect. The gunman hits Detective Martin Sewell in the neck, and then Detective Clay Parrott falls with a head injury. As more officers advance, the shooter jumps in his truck and flees, still firing at the front doors. Cops fire back. But now it's up to units on the street to take out this homicidal maniac. Cops with dash cams rolling tail the shooter, who keeps firing as he drives. A deputy gets the truck to stop, but then has to floor it to get out of the line of fire. The suspect climbs out of the cab, blasting away with the AK-47. It's a frightening moment caught on tape. But off-camera, cops are also taking aim, and they find their mark. The gunman is shot, and as suddenly and violently as it began, this horrific rampage is over. Back at the courthouse, the scene resembles a battlefield. 3 are dead, including the shooter, his wife, and the heroic bystander who tried to stop the carnage. And 4 have survived. The shooter's son shot in the leg, Deputy Sherman Dullison after major surgery for his bullet wounds, Detective Marvin Sewell injured in the neck, and Detective Clay Parrott is grazed in the head by a bullet, but walks away from his brush with death. It's a dark day that won't be forgotten. Gaffney, South Carolina. Officers pull over 2 young men driving a car with a defective headlight. And these cops are ready for anything.
Is there anything in this car illegal? Any guns, knives, drugs, bombs, hand grenades, anything like that? Would you care if I took a look?
2 young men are asked to step out of the car.
I'm just gonna do a quick pat down in your pockets, make sure you ain't got no weapons on you, okay?
The men are clean, and there seems to be no serious problem.
Well, I did just wrote you a warning for the defective headlight, but you don't show up for court or anything. So if you'll just bear with us just a few minutes, we'll be out of here, okay?
Then the officer takes a look in the car. That's clean too. Except for a few very small things.
Got seeds in the ashtray.
It's not the most frightening evidence in the world.
What kind of seeds in the ashtray?
Unless you're the young man on the left.
Be truthful with me, what kind of seeds are they? Dang.
It's a question that hits this kid like a bullet.
Be truthful with me, what kind of seeds are they?
He slams his head into the car bumper. The officers rush to help.
Give me EMS out here at this traffic stop, please. Back up, dog. Come on, man. Sit tight. Hold still. Hold still.
Luckily, he's not badly hurt.
Have a seat right here, okay? You okay? We got a medic on the way to see you, okay?
He has some serious bumps and scrapes, and he's still pretty shaky. But the officer would like to know why.
Come here, man. Let me talk to you for a minute. All right, be truthful with me. If y'all smoking your dope or anything tonight, tell me you got yourself. No, I
No charges are filed. The man is treated on the scene and released. But one question remains. What the heck were those seeds anyway? Well, there's at least one person you're better off not asking.
Be truthful with me. What kind of seeds are they? Dang.
There's a lot more disorderly conduct racing down the road. 6 people pay the price when a wrong-way driver pushes the odds. And a lawbreaker gets leveled. It's all just around the corner on disorderly conduct. This is the view from a police helicopter as the driver of a stolen SUV tries to elude the law in Daytona Beach, Florida. The driver has 3 passengers inside, and it's obvious he has no concern for their safety or anyone else's. He threads through traffic at this intersection.
Passing on the right-hand side, running red lights.
Moments later, he pulls a U-turn on somebody's lawn.
Okay, the vehicle's turning around, headed back west.
Then sideswipes one very surprised truck driver. It's an accident waiting to happen as the suspect speeds past traffic and nearly hits his second truck of the day. As if there wasn't enough drama, the driver decides to race down the wrong side of the road.
This is opposing traffic lanes.
Soon he's back in the right direction, but he's back to his old habit of running red lights. For some reason, this guy prefers to drive against traffic, and that's just what he does again a few blocks later. He seems to slow down. But with each passing car, the danger increases that this will not end safely. Several blocks later, the odds finally catch up. Both the suspect and another driver swerve to avoid each other. The result is a high-speed head-on collision.
Signal 4, signal 4.
When officers go to check on the occupants, it's obvious paramedics are needed more than police. And in the end, a suspect's total disregard for the safety of others results in 6 people being seriously injured.
Signal 4, signal 4.
Grand Rapids, Michigan. When this hooded shopper says he wants paper instead of plastic, he means money. Customers don't seem to know an attempted armed robbery is going down until the cash drawer drops. But the big surprise is what drops next. The suspect. Out of nowhere, the store's manager whacks the guy with a construction level. He quickly checks out next to the check stand. The manager watches over the motionless man as the co-workers call the cops. It isn't long before police and paramedics arrive and take the suspect away. He'll awaken about an hour later when he gets his second surprise of the day. He has a big bump on his head and is facing attempted armed robbery charges. An officer in Clay Como, Missouri, pursues a suspected DUI along a freeway access road. The suspect is doing 80 in a 40-mile-an-hour zone. But as you will see, a speeding ticket is the least of his problems. The suspect veers wide as he passes a car in the right lane, nearly colliding with oncoming traffic. But it's just a taste of what's to come. Once again, he tries to pass a slower car. But this time, the results are frightening. The suspect veers too far to the left, hits a car as it turns into the oncoming lane, and slams into the minivan. igniting an inferno in the middle of the highway. It's a horrific crash, one that very few could be expected to survive. But the officer is astonished to see the driver of the minivan simply walking away from her burning car. And she isn't the only one with luck on her side. Both the suspect and the man he hit in the opposite lane come away with only minor injuries. Truly an escape from hell on the highway. The suspect did not get off easy. He was charged with DUI at 2.5 times over the legal limit and sentenced to several years in prison for causing this flaming wreck. But compared to what may have been, he got off unscathed. Disorderly conduct is just getting started. It's man versus machine. Guess who wins? And there's an APB on this ATV. It's all just moments away on Disorderly Conduct. Tension runs high in Spartanburg, South Carolina, as an armed suspect holds a woman hostage inside a grocery store. Now a police SWAT team moves up as cops try to reason with him. Police send out a robot with a cell phone. They get the suspect to talk through the door, but he's not about to give up.
I can barely hear you. You want to open the door a little bit?
Hours pass with no end to the standoff in sight. The suspect is behind 2 locked doors and a wall of plexiglass. Police decide there's only one way to get to him. They need to punch a hole in the building. The job falls on the shoulders of one man, an unarmed city employee, a bulldozer operator. He volunteers to risk his life to save the hostage. Cops give him a bulletproof vest and he goes to work. The SWAT team comes up and tosses flashbang grenades in the hole, hoping to stun the suspect. Then they move in. Shots ring out from inside the hole as the suspect fires. No one is injured, and the suspect moves to a new hiding place with the hostage. But the hero in the bulldozer keeps at it. He moves to the corner where the suspect is hiding and goes on the attack again.
Watch your lines of fire. Watch your lines of fire.
Desperate and with nowhere to hide, the suspect attempts to bring the woman out as a shield. But he's up against expert marksmen, and in one brief second, he leaves an opening and pays the price. The suspect is hit in the shoulder and falls back inside the building. But the woman hostage has fallen in the rubble. Police don't know if she's injured or worse, but to everyone's relief, she gets to her feet and runs for cover. The SWAT team moves forward from inside the store and grabs the suspect. His shoulder wound is serious, but he's alert and put in handcuffs.
Go on and cuff him.
Then removed by ambulance. After a dangerous 13-hour standoff, no lives are lost. And the woman hostage is uninjured. The suspect recovered and was booked for kidnapping, abduction, and weapons violations, and for his actions in facing down a dangerous criminal. The bulldozer hero was honored as Distinguished Citizen of the Year by the city. An award well earned. It's a Las Vegas child custody hearing, and the judge is upset that the father refuses to lock up his guns.
I know you own firearms, but when you have children around, when they were under your roof, you were supposed to have them locked up.
The man decides he's heard enough.
You show me a rule
Sir,
that shows
I'm
me
not
the
gonna ask you-
Constitution of the United States that I have to. Please.
Court ordered.
I'm getting screwed here and I'm supposed to sit here and take it?
Sir, I'm going to ask you not to make any comments in the middle of my decision.
Both his lawyer and the bailiff urge him to cool down.
Listen there.
But just the opposite happens.
You're not going to disrupt my decision.
Fists fly when the man's anger turns to rage. As he brawls with the bailiffs, the man's mother begs him to stop. Soon, every security officer on the floor is on the scene. After nearly a minute of madness, order is restored. The frustrated father is taken to jail and charged with 4 counts of battery on a police officer. And yes, he loses custody of his children. A sheriff's deputy in Mulberry, Arkansas tries to pull over a young man on an ATV four-wheeler. He observed the suspect riding on the highway and went after him. And now the chase has moved onto backcountry dirt roads, which puts the guy on the ATV at a real advantage. The suspect seems sure of his ability to evade arrest. And the ATV has a pretty good lead. But when the deputy comes to a fork in the road, all he has to do is follow the dust cloud. But when he runs out of dust, he knows it's time to backtrack. Sure enough, there's the suspect. But stopping is not in the suspect's game plan. The chase is back on until the deputy runs into a ditch. He gets out of it. And keeps going. Chances are the suspect is long gone. But down the road, surprise! There he is, flagging down the deputy with his own wheels stuck in a ditch. The deputy gives him a few words of greeting. Cuffed in the back seat, the suspect tries to catch a break.
I wanted to keep going. I could have kept going. I stood right there in the street trying to, give myself up to you. You don't understand that. And that hurts my feelings, man.
The suspect was still booked for reckless driving and fleeing. There were no injuries, except to his feelings. Up next on Disorderly Conduct. Look out, here comes the suspect. And this clown takes his show on the road.
He's gonna lose it right here.
You never know who will take the stage next on Disorderly Conduct. Three speeding squad cars close in on a suspect in Idaho Falls, Idaho. They're racing toward an armed driver who reportedly fired shots at another motorist.
The initial call came in, the suspect supposedly shot another vehicle in the driver's door.
To make things even more dangerous, the guy is all over the road.
Watch out, he's going down oncoming lane of traffic in the center divider.
He's headed this way from the opposite direction.
Guys, if we can, let's knock him off the road.
The plan is to nail him with a pit maneuver when he goes by. When the lead deputy sees him coming, he moves into position and connects. But that's nothing compared to this view from the officer who's traveling right behind. The pit sends the suspect's SUV flying into the cruiser. The impact causes the airbags to deploy, and the officer takes a hard hit to the head. But this third dashcam view shows that this cop doesn't miss a beat. That's him leaving his cruiser and going after the suspect. The man is yanked from the SUV and quickly cuffed on the street. The suspect has a bloody nose, but that's the least of his problems. He later pleads guilty to felony assault, as well as eluding police, and faces up to 20 years in prison. A stolen car is on the run in Orange County, California. It's 4 in the morning and pitch black. Prime time for this police helicopter and its night vision camera. As the car approaches an intersection,
Got a clear shot, go.
an officer tosses a strip of stop sticks in its path, blowing out one of the car's tires. Sparks can be seen as the wheel rim grinds against the pavement.
He's gonna lose it right here.
The suspect clips another car at an intersection as he struggles to control the disabled vehicle.
Okay, he's out. He's running. He's got nowhere to go. He's running northbound up towards the east-west, coming up to a fence. He's going to try to climb the fence. He's working on it. Not very long. The dog's got him.
With no way out, the suspect quickly surrenders to the police and their dogs. The suspect never had a chance to escape. He was arrested and charged with grand theft auto and attempting to elude police.
He's on the ground now, and they're going to work on taking him into custody.
It's a real good show in Los Angeles. A character in a beat-up Toyota leads cops on a multi-freeway chase. The suspect is wanted for assault, but so far he's taking his time, even offering a tip of the hat to pursuing officers. And that's only a small preview of what's to come. Down the road, the suspect airs out by opening a door as he flees. Later, we get a look at what's fueling this chase. A bottle of scotch. Don't know the brand, but it's the kind that makes you do S-turns in the middle of the freeway. Followed by some more door tricks. He breezes through traffic with no hands on the wheel, swerving, stopping, starting, and offering advice to his fellow drivers. It's all a setup for the main act. And here it comes. You're seeing it with your own eyes. In the middle of the freeway, the suspect jumps out and taunts police. He even does an encore. is starting to look like a bad Michael Jackson impersonator on the lam. But the cops aren't dancing to the tune. Still very much impressed with himself, the suspect taunts cops some more and tosses his hat out the door. Having gotten this far with this absurd chase, he salutes his public. But the curtain has to come down at some point, and police are happy to do the job. It's a perfect pit as the suspect is brought to a halt. But he still has some showtime left in him. As he runs at gunpoint, he tosses a couple of bags of evidence and jumps over a wall. Cops pursue and tackle the suspect. They lead him to a patrol car and take him into custody. At the end of the day, no one is hurt in the chase. The suspect is booked for drug possession, evading, and resisting arrest. When disorderly conduct returns, jail can be a jolting experience, especially for this lady. And here's why you should keep your eyes on the road. The hits just keep on coming on disorderly conduct. A woman DUI suspect is brought into a police station for testing in Sheffield Village, Ohio. She's already flunked the field test, and now she wants her attorney.
You have no right to keep me here without calling my attorney.
Where'd you get your law degree then?
Shut the up like you have a law degree, fat pig.
The cops keep their cool until she slips her wrist out of the restraint.
I didn't know what I'm under arrest for. You need to tell me when I'm under arrest.
She's cuffed, but still persisting.
My attorney right now.
What's up?
911.
Meanwhile, the woman with very small hands gets out of the cuffs again.
I am not a violent criminal.
Give me your hand.
No, you are not.
You want to get tasered? You want to get tasered?
Sure. Taser me, because I'm a white woman. I'm so violent.
A female officer is brought in to search the suspect.
Don't get your hands off me!
And when she refuses to go for that, the cops go all electric on her.
Get your hands off of me!
Taser, deploy!
The woman falls and smacks her head on the padded seat chair.
Are you gonna cooperate?
She's okay, but she's not playing it that way.
I can hear you breathing. Now, are you gonna cooperate?
Now she has to go to the hospital to get the taser prongs pulled out. Otherwise, she's back to her chipper self.
I want my attorney. I'm not going anywhere without my attorney.
There'll be no more tasing, but she does get strapped to a gurney for the trip to the hospital. The woman is booked for obstruction, DUI, and driving under suspension. She was released on her own recognizance.
So violent.
But she won't soon forget the day she got the electricity and the chair.
Taser, deploy!
A gas station cashier in Clayton County, Florida checks out a customer. There's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. The so-called customer is only distracting the cashier, setting him up for what comes next. Another surveillance camera rolls as an accomplice puts a vicious headlock on the cashier. The phony customer goes for the register, and a third suspect moves into the picture. The cashier is still trapped in a powerful headlock as the three men search for money. One uses a hammer trying to pry open a drawer, having little luck opening the register. The suspects force the cashier to do the job. They even go through his pockets as he tries to follow their instructions. The second register is empty, but they still want more money. The suspects help themselves to the cigarettes. One even takes the time to bag his loot, but the cashier is free, and that means this free-for-all is about over. The suspects run for the street. The victim looks for the phone. In all the excitement, he doesn't feel it now, but he suffered a serious neck injury. An injury, in fact, that will put him in the hospital. His only consolation? All the suspects are easily identified on tape, and he has survived. The total take for this vicious attack, $28. Sometimes it's a good idea to wear a seatbelt, even when your car's not moving. Just ask State Trooper Jeff Reed. Trooper Reed is filling out paperwork after stopping the semi in Spring Hill, Texas. Suddenly, a pickup truck rear-ends his cruiser, then careens across the interstate. The trucker jumps out and goes to check on the welfare of the man who stopped him. Trooper Reed has a shoulder injury and will have to go to the hospital. And what about the pickup driver? He escapes injury, but he won't escape both a fine and embarrassment. It turns out he's a government official who took his eyes off the road. He'll have to pay $500, as well as cover damages to the cruiser. Moments away on disorderly conduct. The suspect who can't escape. And a squad car that does. Don't move. Disorderly conduct will be right back. This suspect in Farmington Hills, Michigan is driving with a suspended license. And one look at the way he's driving pretty much explains why. There goes a stop sign. Wrong side of the road. And off the road, almost colliding with a truck. And then there's driving on the sidewalk. After that little stunt, the lead officer breaks off and tries to intercept the chase around the corner. And here comes the same officer from the left, trying to block the suspect as a second dashboard cam rolls. Add to the list cutting corners and nearly ramming an officer. The second car picks up the chase, while the first gets turned around. Now the suspect is blasting through the neighborhood with his door open. Cops suspect he's trying to bail, and they might have a point. The trailing car shows the suspect leaping out to run on foot, but not so fast. He's pinned by the patrol car against the SUV. Here's how it looks up close. Cops swarm the suspect, getting him unstuck and on the ground. A female passenger is also subdued after getting a little too close to the action. The man who couldn't drive straight is charged with fleeing and resisting arrest. His female passenger is booked for obstruction. And speaking of obstructions, the cop behind the wheel did a pretty good job too. An officer clocks a motorcycle at 95 miles an hour in Spartanburg, South Carolina. After 15 high-flying minutes, the rider wises up and pulls over. Let's just say the deputy's not pleased. The officer stays with the suspect, but it seems his cruiser has other plans. In all the excitement, the deputy failed to put his car in park, and now it's slowly leaving the scene of the crime. Fortunately, the slope isn't steep, and it soon stops. After cuffing the man, the deputy realizes his mistake and hustles back to his vehicle. He hops inside, pops it into drive, and heads back to the suspect.
Got the subject in custody.
In the end, this is clearly a case of failure to stop and speeding. Two things that fortunately apply only to the suspect and not the rolling cruiser.
Sunday.